Hi, this is Dalkatsia and I'm posting for the City Hill Divorce Support Life Group Facebook page. This is part 10 on the immigration series that we're doing. So I really covered the job opportunity and what you need to do in terms of that immigration process. Just to clarify that in order to get your visa application approved, you are going to need a High Court order ruling in your favor that you can immigrate and take the child with you to your destination country. And in order to get that High Court ruling, you're going to have to get a job. You're going to have a job employment opportunity. So you're going to need that letter of employment in writing. But I did forget something, and I'm going to go back to that quickly, because during your process of making your application to the High Court, you need to go for psychological assessment. So in the process of evaluating what is in the best interest of the child, you will need to have this assessment done by a psychologist who will assess the child in terms of her needs, and they will do psychometric testing on yourself and for your former spouse as well. For me, it was a very complicated process. The attorneys asked for this. The court asked for a psychological assessment of the child. It was duly done, and this is really where it really starts to climb up to your 200,000 to 300,000 rand. These reports are exceptionally expensive. You're looking at about 18,000 rand, and that was 5 years ago for one report. So I did the report. Olivia was evaluated, I was evaluated, and it was submitted to the court. Here comes the counter moves. The opposition rejected the report. They felt that the psychologist was biased, so they wanted their psychologist. Their psychologist then did an evaluation. Of course, she then decided I was immigrating to cause parental alienation, and I naturally rejected that report. Counter moves. Then the family advocate also have a report, and the family advocate found that in fact it was in the best interest of the child to relocate with me. So they didn't find for the opposition's psychological assessment that there was parental alienation, but they said it was in fact better if we did immigrate, because this was a very high conflict divorce. The family advocate's recommendation was then also rejected by the opposition, and the High Court then appointed their own psychologist. So we went through that process, and only in that process, the opposition rejected that third psychological assessment in any way which found that there was in the best interest for me to immigrate and to take my child with me. They rejected that, but the High Court then said, you have rejected that psychological assessment that I had done. You'd rejected the family advocate's recommendation, and now you are again rejecting the psychologist's report that we as the High Court appointed. And they then overrode that, and they made their ruling to say it was in the best interest of me to immigrate and to take my child with me, and that in fact my former spouse would have access visitation once a year. And I'm going to carry on another clip as to the sabotage that happened on that. But don't forget about the psychological assessments. Those reports in itself cost about 60,000 rand. In terms of costs between 200,000 to 300,000 rand that I quoted, you're looking at about 30,000 rand for your immigration specialists and your settlement consultants, and then your attorney and advocate to represent you in court repeatedly. That came up to about 180,000. So that's just mentioning a little bit. There's other things that I've probably forgotten about, but it is a very expensive and a very long and drawn out process. And we'll talk more about the sabotage tomorrow. Thanks.